Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Sunday, the second day of Cheshvan. Let's begin with tzedakah. Gedola tzedakah, shema kareves es hageula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. And we continue in chapter 25. And today we're learning something very interesting. The Alter Rebbe explains when is it that anger is something that we can use in a positive way. We explained earlier in this chapter that to get angry is akin to idolatry. Because when you get angry, something happens. You're just, like you're saying, something happened to me, and it's not what I wanted. Somebody controlled things. But when you believe that Hashem controls everything, then you don't get angry. It is Hashem wanted this to happen. However, there is a statement that says, Hakol bidei shamayim, chutz mirat shamayim. Everything is in the hands of heaven, except for fear of God. Fear God, to do the Torah, to do the mitzvahs, this is something that Hashem leaves up to us. So if there's something that happens that interferes your ability, tries to stop you from doing a mitzvah, or someone tries to you cannot avoid doing a mitzvah or violating a sin, you cannot just say, okay, that something Hashem made it happen. No. Hashem says that this I leave up to you. So therefore, it is okay. It is okay to get angry and stop it. What does it mean get angry? You can do, of course, you can do things in a peaceful way, but you should turn you on and say, wait a second, this is something happening and this shouldn't be happening. Now find your way to do it in a peaceful way, in a nice way. But it says that's what happened with Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses, it says, he got angry. And when people did something that was not supposed to be done. And see, here comes the Alter Rebbe and says to get angry in spiritual things. So sometimes you can avoid. You get upset, you start to try to stop the person, but sometimes you can't help it. You can't help it. Sometimes if somebody does something and he's not interested in anything, if a Gentile tries to stop you, as the example that the Baal Shem Tov brings, if somebody, a wicked person tries to stop you from praying, so what are you going to get angry and scream at him, stop me? No, he's not going to, he doesn't care about this. Says the Alter Rebbe here, you wonder why Hashem did this. Then realize that you're able to turn that energy in a much greater positive, meaning that anger, that upsetness you have, you trying to do the right thing, you're trying to pray, you're trying to study Torah, and here something happens and you're not able to do it. You're able to take this energy and transform it into a positive thing. To dig deeper into yourself. If somebody tries to stop you for praying, for example, then you're going to use more concentration and realize that think about this, what this happens is in order to arouse within you a greater connection to Hashem, a deeper concentration. So this way, what you do is you completely transform the evil forces into goodness. And with this, the Alter Rebbe is going to explain the letter of the Baal Shem Tov, the message of the Baal Shem Tov that was quoted in the book called Tzavoas Arivash, the will of the Baal Shem Tov, which wasn't actually a will, it was quoting sayings that the Baal Shem Tov said. And that was something that the Misnagdim, those who opposed Hasidus, were very against, or very opposed to, and they even considered this as heresy. What was it? The Baal Shem Tov says that when a goy, when a wicked person tries to go and stop you from doing the right thing, God dwells within him. And they said, this is heresy. How could you say God dwells within this evil? So the Alter Rebbe says, yes, that energy, as we spoke earlier, the godly energy that comes through speech, goes into the speech of the evil person, and it then animates them, it vivifies that evil person and allows them to do this speech and whatever he does to try to stop you from doing the right thing. And this is the concept of the spiritual divine presence that is in exile, is doing the opposite of Hashem, what Hashem wants. But ultimately, this is for their detriment. It is for the detriment of the evil. The evil feels that it now is in control, now it does everything what it wants. But ultimately, what does it do? When you focus on the message that we just said, and you use that challenge, and you turn that anger into a positive, into an energy to connect to Hashem deeper, this is how you're completely taking away that forces from that energy from the evil and transforming it into Kedusha. So let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. ואחר הדבורים והאמס האלה, הגלויים וידועים לכל, נחזור לעניין הראשון בעניין הכעס שהוא כואב את עבודת הזרה. After these words and this truth, which are manifest and known to all, let us return to the original subject concerning anger, where a person who is angry is likened to an idolater. V'hainu b'mila de'alma. So this is so only with regard to mundane matters. For everything is in the hands of heaven except for the fear of heaven. Everything is in the hands of heaven except for the fear of heaven. Hashem leaves it up to us. Since everything is in God's hand, there is no reason to become angry. However, with regards to matters involving the fear of heaven, anger does have a place. You can use the anger in a positive way. Velochein, says the Alter Rebbe, therefore, it says, with respect to heavenly matters, to ward a fellow Jew from transgressing a prohibition, the reason stated does not apply. For these matters are not in God's hands, but in man's. Hashem leaves it up to us when it comes to heavenly matters, mitzvahs, doing the right thing. As it is written, and Moses was angry. And why was that? This was because God caused him to encounter this mitzvah of warding a fellow Jew from transgressing a prohibition in order to make him meritorious. Thus, this situation is obviously quite different from being angry at someone because of harm or offense. Now, this is true when you're able to stop the person. When you're getting upset and you're getting all involved, and trying to stop him is going to help him, and the person is going to stop the transgression. But this applies only when one is able to prevent transgression by his wrath and anger against his fellow man. In such a case, he is permitted to become angry, as did Moses. And again, as I mentioned before, this is certain places anger will do the job. Certain other places, or most places, you got to do it in a calm and peaceful way. You got to get angry within yourself and get worked up, but do it in a smart and a good way. In any case, says the Alter Rebbe, but this is true in a case where you can prevent the transgression. However, when he's unable to change the situation, as in the case of the heathen who talks and confuses him while he is praying. So what are you going to do? You're going to get angry at the heathen, at the wicked person? He's going to do it even more. The question then rises, what is this that God has done to him, that a Gentile should disrupt his prayer? What is the purpose of this? As the Alter Rebbe, you got to be smart. Think about it. Hashem gave this opportunity because Hashem wants you to concentrate more, to exert more concentration and meditation and connection to Hashem in a deeper way. This is so only in order that he prevail and strengthen himself ever more in his prayers, from the depth of his heart, and with such intense concentration that he will not hear the Gentile talk. Now, to do that, says Alter Rebbe, to be frank, it's not easy. It's a very high level to achieve such a concentration, such an intense arousal. So what's the advice? How can you get there? Says Alter Rebbe, when you focus on what we just spoke, when you realize how the Shekhinah, the divine presence, went down to this low place, to this Gentile, or to this, talking obviously a wicked Gentile, that tries to stop you from doing the good things. Certainly many good Gentiles, no question about it. We're talking about a person that tries to avoid you from doing the right things. However, for such a level, one needs a great and intense arousal. And the counsel suggested to attain such an arousal derives from this very subject. One should consider and meditate on the concept of the descent of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, as it were, how it descended in wondrous fashion, to have a spark of its radiance invested within the klippos. It is generally in a state of exile among the klippos in order to animate them. And now, a spark of its radiance vests itself in a particular state of exile in the speech of this Gentile who utters words that disturb one's divine service, meaning one's devout concentration during prayer. As explained above, that God created this opposite that. Each element of the holy side of the universe having its unholy counterpart on the other side, the Sitra Achad, the other side. Thus the supernal speech vests itself in the nether speech, and so on. This indeed is the meaning of the verse, that man rules over man to his detriment, which was explained above in the terms of the temporary dominion of the evil man of the klippos over the sacred man, the holy side of the universe, but ultimately it's to his detriment. Because when you realize that, and you take this opportunity to transform and to become even more devout, as the Alter Rebbe continues, that is to say that through this meditation, the individual is aroused to pray with greater devotion from the depth of his heart until he will not hear the Gentiles' words. So that's what the Alter Rebbe explained. Now the Alter Rebbe points out something else regarding the letter, the message of the Baal Shem Tov, as we said, that people opposed and they didn't understand. And Alter Rebbe explained, how could it be that a God vested the Shechina into the Gentile? And now we explained all of this. However, Alter Rebbe says that the translation that they used to translate the words of the Baal Shem Tov was not, one word was not exact translation, because the Baal Shem Tov really spoke in Yiddish, and the book was written in Hebrew. So there was one word that they mistranslate. They didn't translate it right, and that was the word they said when Hashem dwells. And so the word dwelling inside is something short. The word sharsa. That's what they wrote. The Baal Shem Tov didn't say sharsa. Sharsa means dwelling. That suggests a godly revelation in them, and that's not the case. It is Hashem vest itself, meaning that it was there. It was mislapsha. It was nislabish. It was vested itself into the evil. Not that it dwells and reveals there. No. So that's what Alter Rebbe says, that this was just one word that was mistranslated. That's what Alter Rebbe continues now. Mashe kosav amelaket sharsa lo yod alachaben aloshen bedigduk. As for the compiler of the book, the Tzavos HaRivash, using the word sharta, meaning that the Shechina dwelt or abided within this Gentile, he did not know how to determine the precise term. For the Baal Shem Tov, a blessed memory, used to deliver Torah teaching in Yiddish, not in the Holy Tongue, not in Hebrew. And he really meant to say nislapsha, that he became vested. Again, because a sharsa, dwelt or abided, implies that the Shechina was revealed, but this was not what the Baal Shem Tov said. Whereas nislapsha means that the Shechina was vested in a state of exile. And this explains also what the Baal Shem Tov writes there, that all of this is true, that the Shechina dwelt in the Gentile, in the one who opposes you, tries to stop you from studying, and it says especially if he's a Nachi, especially if he's a Gentile. Why is it especially if he's a Gentile? That shows in the contrary. So it says the explanation is because that is when shows that the divine presence goes down all the way down into such a low place that even the Gentile comes or goes against Hashem, and here the Shechina, the divine presence, vests itself in him. But all of this is for the purpose. The Shechina is in exile, but it's for the purpose to elevate you. This distinction explains the emphasis in the Tzavos HaRivash, and especially if he's a Gentile. For then it is so much more in exile. And finally, the Alter Rebbe addresses one more question. I'm talking about that the Shechina dwelt and clothed itself into this wicked person. How could you call it Shekhinah? How could you call a spark of godly divines, call it Shekhinah? Shekhinah refers to Hashem, the godliness. So the Alter Rebbe says, yes, you can call it Shekhinah, because the godly spark that serves Hashem's purpose is called Shekhinah. And not only that, says the Alter Rebbe, we find in the Torah that even angels are also referred to as God, while fulfilling God's mission. That's what the final point Alter Rebbe brings here. There is no need to wonder at a spark of the radiance of the Shekhinah being referred to in the Tzavas Arivash as Shekhinah. For we find that even a created angel, which is not a spark of the Shekhinah, it is a created being, a created angel, but he is referred to by God's name in Parshas Vayera. That's next week, we're going to learn it. In the verse, and he said, Lord, do not pass by your servant. According to the commentary of Rabbi Moses Nachmanides, the Ramban, that this was Abraham referring to the angel as the Lord. And it brings another example, and likewise it is written, and Hagar called the name of God who spoke to her. Where we are explicitly told that we are speaking of an angel. And many more passages like this. So this is the message, a beautiful message. When the Alter Rebbe says here, every opportunity we take to get stronger, to become bigger, is actually connected with this week's Torah portion that is called Lech Lecha. The Torah portion talks about the stories of Avraham, many, many stories in the Parsha, but the name of the portion is Lech Lecha. Hashem said to Avraham, go to yourself. Go, move forward. So the Rebbe says that the fact that the message, the name of the Parsha is Lech Lecha, go, move forward, is a message to us that constantly, wherever situation you find yourself, you constantly have to find a way to move forward. Even if you did the best today, get angry. What does it mean, get angry? Get excited. That don't become happy and content with what you have. You got to constantly move forward and see what's the next thing. Have an opportunity, have a challenge. You move forward, and B'ezrat Hashem will move all of us forward and bringing us Mashiach very soon. Amen. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow.